Okay, so the next treatment type that I want to go over is muscle energy. So there are a few things that I want to go over. Number one, you need to make sure that the patient is always pushing into their freedom, and because of that, you need to set them up in their barrier. So let's say I come to you just in general, and I have a hunched over back. So if I'm already walking like this, that means my freedom is going to be flexion. Because of that, you want to set me up into extension until you feel a barrier. And then you'll set me up into extension, you'll apply, some resistance against me, and I'll try to flex against you. So remember, patient pushes into their freedom because that's easy for them. You set them up in their barrier. The second thing is that, the patient will engage in their contraction, and you really need to be clear with them that it needs to be a very small amount of force. Because the key here is that contraction, whatever they're doing, let's say, contracting my bicep against resistance like this, it needs to be isometric. So that means the muscle cannot lengthen or shorten at all. So the amount of pressure you're applying and the amount of pressure they're applying need to be such that the muscle actually doesn't move at all, even though it's contracting. And then the third thing that I think a lot of people really struggle with is that after the patient is done contracting, whatever it may be, so that 3 to 5 seconds of resisted contraction, you need to make sure you allow a relaxation period that is as long as that contraction, because if the relaxation period isn't long enough, then the muscle isn't going to have a chance to adequately respond. And when you put it into the new barrier, it might spasm, or you might actually, instead of turning down that gamma motor gain they're always talking about, you might actually end up triggering something worse. So you really, really need to make sure that that relaxation period is sufficient. That's all I have for muscle energy.